So Karina had told me that she conspired with Jeff, with Max, with my parents to talk to my PO to get me locked up. Now you have to remember, I'm in a complete state of mental, physical, emotional, spiritual shutdown. I'm emaciated. I've probably lost 30 pounds. I started a new YouTube channel recently, and I'm going to start posting a lot of real footage from my documentary before it comes out on that channel. I'll leave the link below. But I posted a picture last night. I don't know when you guys are going to see this. My Patreon people had already seen that footage a long time ago. But it shows me during the breakdown period, and I'm literally going insane. So you can see in those videos that I'm sucked up. I look like I'm on meth, but I'm not. I was just going through a legit mental breakdown. And now to hear that this woman that I'm about to have a child with was in on putting me in jail, it completely blew my fucking wig. Hung up on her. This is the problem. I wasn't going to be able to get the drugs from Midget Man without her or without anybody. I needed people in the free world. So we got in this nasty fight. I hung up on her. I couldn't fucking believe it. And I went and I told these guys. Now, these guys that I'm in county jail with, I'm in Santa Barbara County jail with, they're not nice guys. They're scumbags. They're the kind of guys that go to jail, gain a bunch of weight, just laying in their bed all day. They don't work out. And then they get out and they live in a bush and smoke crystal meth. My kind of guys. Definitely career-oriented gentlemen. They're pieces of shit. And I'm in this state of psychosis, and I'm sure you can imagine. I get in there, I was like, check it out. I'm famous. They're like, what do you mean you're famous? I'm like, well, you can Google me. So that became kind of people would be like, Google me. Anytime I walked anywhere in the jail, you heard people go, Google me. And I'd be like, hey, what's up? Oh, thanks for watching, man. Appreciate it. Like, I was in this complete state of delusion. So I'd already told them that I'm this like famous writer and I'm a prison reform activist. Hey, man, I don't want to freak you guys out, but when this video that I leaked a few weeks ago goes viral, it's probably going to be a circus in here. I'm thinking CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. They're probably all going to be here. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about dealing with the press, though, at this point. It kind of burned me. Did you see the interview about me in the Santa Barbara Independent? Did you read that? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was in there. They'd be like, I know, you told us like 10 times. I'm like, oh, yeah, I don't know. When you're waiting to go viral, your mind gets a little cluttered. So these guys didn't like me because I was, you're probably like, oh, that's funny. And you're just making a joke. No, that's really how it was. In fact, most of the time, unless I say that, I'm just joking. That's like what I was actually doing. It just sounds ridiculous, but I was in a state of psychosis. So now I'm in a weird position because I know that Karina, I know that my parents, I know that Jeff, I know that Max, I know all these people put me in jail. Like, what the fuck? And now I'm level-headed now, and in retrospect, honestly, they had given me the opportunity. They're like, we just want you to go to a mental hospital. I was like, no. You're just intimidated by my fame. My parents were like, oh my God. Ryan, you're not famous. I'm like, have you not seen the billboard at the Libero? It's life-size. So they had tried to get me to go to a mental hospital. I don't know. I tell you these stories, but a lot of times I'm blacked out when the breakdown period was happening. I don't remember half this stuff. Ask Karina how the breakdown period was. I'll do an interview specifically about that with her. I'll put it on Patreon. She'll say that I was absolutely insane. And she'll say that all the things that I'm telling you, she'll be like, oh yeah, he'd always be like, nah, I'm not hungry. I don't know. I just feel like I'm not trying to have a full stomach if I go viral. People are going to be trying to buy me cheesecake and shit. You know, seriously, I was saying shit like that. But I need them because I need the drugs. I'm coming off Suboxone, so my legs are like spasming. The heroin's helping. Midget Man's like giving me drugs, but I don't own them yet because Jose, my future manager, who was going to have Christina come to the event to speak for the first time publicly after the movie Blow had come out. I mean, she hadn't talked for 20 years about what it was like growing up without a mother and father, because Mirtha and George were in prison for a lot of her childhood. That was going to be like a special part of the event. But Jose was going to give me the money for the drugs. I don't know if he knew. I mean, he was Boston George's manager while George was in prison. So I'm sure George called him all the time, and he's like, hey, Jose, I need. That's not how Boston George talks. I don't know. I can't do his voice. Can't think of how he talks right now. It doesn't matter. But I'm sure George would call him and be like, hey, man, God, it pisses me off that I can't do his voice. I don't know. I'd have to practice it. But I'm sure he called him. He's like asking him for like $500 because he lost some baseball spread or something. Because that's just how George is. So Jose was used to sending copious amounts of money for drug and gambling debts to George, I'm sure. So he had no problem sending me $600. It was $1,200 for all the dope. 9 grams of heroin and 3 grams of crystal meth, which is not in jail. That's you're doing okay. So I had to get back on the phone with Karina, and I call her and I was like, and I'm thinking before I call her now, and remember, I'm still crazy at this point. I just got off suicide watch. That whole thing was like a blur to me because I was in a state of utter psychosis. And I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I just got to get back on the phone with Karina, and I got to sweet talk her so that I can get drugs. I need drugs. I need drugs, then I'll go viral and I'll leave her. I'll be like, I just used you for drugs. This kind of shit I was thinking. So I call her, and I'm like, hi, sweetheart. You know what? I'm sorry. And she's like, you know what? No, fuck you. I just got an anonymous email. You were cheating on me with your ex-wife. I was like, what? I didn't expect that. I expected that, I was going to be apologizing. I didn't know that these cheating allegations were going to get thrown on me, and I hadn't cheated on her. What the fuck are you talking about? Now, 2 things happened so after the breakdown, now remember, I had been selling tickets. I sold like 3 tickets to this event, but I was doing the kind of shit. I forgot to go into this in the breakdown series. I was telling people, if you don't donate to my nonprofit for prison reform, I'm going to fucking unfriend you, piece of shit. And then I'm going to piss on you and watch mushrooms grow out of your dead corpse, you fucking losers. Like saying just way out shit. People are messaging me all the time. They're like, hey, brother, way out of line on the Facebook stuff. If you need $5 for the GoFundMe, just ask. And I'm like, no, this is about sweeping prison reform. And I did do some stuff. I got a website. I paid for the nonprofit tax exempt 501c, whatever the fuck it is, through LegalZoom. So I was there was momentum into this nonprofit, and the event was just really going to kick it off. And the first order of business was to get me out of prison. But it didn't work out like that. So what happened is, as soon as I went away, Karina starts getting this barrage of messages like, oh my God, is he okay? And all these weird people that, you ever notice this about Facebook? I don't have like a lot of friends. I have like 1,000 friends on there. I delete people all the time. I'm one of those guys. If there's like one argument, I'm like, you know what? Unfriended, bitch. And I like high five Karina. I was like, yeah. And she like doesn't even know why we're high fiving. I don't know. That's how I am though. I unfriend people very quickly. I don't know. I don't know why I'm a weirdo. Who knows? Is it the marathon LSD use? Is it all the years that I've spent in penitentiaries? Perhaps solitary confinement? Perhaps being celled up with people like Tom? Well, I'm that shit drives a motherfucker crazy. But at this point, and to this day, I am crazy. It just took me a long time to accept that. But you can be crazy and use it for positive stuff. It doesn't have to just be donate to my nonprofit or I'm gonna unfriend you, you fucking loser. You like doesn't need to be like that. Crazy can be artistic crazy, fitness crazy. As long as you're not affecting other people, crazy obsessive energy is okay. So what happened is like people oh yeah, so what I was gonna say with Facebook, so like I have like 1,000 friends. You ever notice that like you'll run into someone that you're friends with on Facebook, right? You haven't seen in years. They're like, "Oh my god, how are you?" And you're like, "I'm good. How are you?" They're like, "I am fucking wonderful. Congratulations on the beautiful bride and baby." I was like, "Oh yeah, how'd you know?" "I've seen all the posts on Facebook," but they don't like or comment. And then like, and the bet well, they've changed the algorithm now, so I don't even see your post. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit because I always like and comment on people's posts. Point is there are a lot of people, very strange voyeuristic people that just go through their news feed and just kind of watch and don't engage with people. Which is kind of weird. Like if you're going to be on a social media platform like Facebook, I don't know why I mean, isn't the point to engage with all these people that you've known throughout your life? You know, people you've had one night stands with, and now they like every photo. Well, now they heart it, now that you can do more than just like. It's like some like very strong heart. Like, ew. That was a one night stand, and we we did anal. Fucking weird. She likes like all my family photos with like my kid and my chick. I'm like, ugh. What was that? What is? What am I going on about? Oh, oh yes. So there's a lot of people on Facebook that don't engage with you, but they're always watching, which is creepy if you think about it. And those people started coming out of the woodwork. All these haters, like I have all sorts of haters, that I don't even know that they hate me. Karina would like tell me, she'd be like, "Hey, I heard from Ashley. She just wanted me to tell you that she fucking hates you." I'm like, "Ashley who?" And she'll like say that I don't even know the name. I'm like, "Okay, I don't know who that is." Well, some of these haters, like I would block them or I would not engage with them or I'm not and they're not in my life, but they would once I went to prison, they all started going and like messaging Karina, not just guys trying to fuck her, girls that were like trying to like infiltrate so they could like creepily know what's going on because it was so bizarre. It's like this big public meltdown. It's weird. One of the people, one of these people that befriended Karina sent her screenshots of my email. In those screenshots, there were two things that were incriminating, so to speak. The first was me corresponding with girls on, I forget, it was like some dating website where it was like email messages. Thing is, though, with that, is Karina knew that like it was that I'm friends with this guy that's really shy. So one night back when Karina and I were drinking, we were getting wasted and we were doing that together, the same site. So she was there when I wrote the messages. So she knew that was not like we were like just coming up with absurd stuff. Like, yeah, my cock's 3.2. It's it's whatever. But I mean, you know, I like EDM, so pretty sure we could still rage if we wanted to. You know, we were saying stuff like that. It was like we are just making a joke out of it, trying to hook my insecure friend up with some girl off some dating website, and it like goes through your email. So she knew that that was bullshit. So she's like, okay, well, the first thing I know is bullshit because it's the messages that I helped you write. I was like, we were like wasting it. We were like having fun with it. The second one, however, was not good. That was my ex-wife, the one, you are such a drug addict, and what she had done. And I don't remember what period she had done this. It may have, I mean, it had to have been after Karina was pregnant, because what it was is she sent a picture of her with her legs spread open. It was like a porno fucking shot. Her with her legs spread open, tits hanging out. And she added text to the photo, and it said, when you get sick of that dumb pregnant Mexican bitch, come back to your real wife. And she'd sent that to me at some point, but I'd never seen it before, you know? And it's not like if I had seen it anyway, I would have been like, yo, Karina, check this out. I just would have deleted it, and that's that. You know, I have her blocked on everything. I'm not really sure where that message was from, but it was in my email. So somebody got in my email and showed Karina these photographs and these screenshots of these messages. Now, she knew the messages were bullshit. That was like my savings grace. But with my ex, she hates my ex-wife. And she's like, oh my God, I am such a fool. You've been fucking her this whole time. I'm like, dude, she doesn't even live in Santa Barbara. I didn't have a car, you know, like last time I saw her, she had tried to set me up with the skinheads when I threw the Suboxone on the ground. So, but that's not what the issue was. So she was mad at me. That's not what the thing is. In my head, I'm like chirping out because whoever had done that had access to my email. That's the same person that did the Jerry Stahl thing and the Tony O'Neill thing. Whoever got into my email. And I'm like, I can't, to this day, I don't know who did it. I don't know. I thought it was Zach at first, but Zach wouldn't do that. And she got it from somebody that like I went to high school with that's always hated me, apparently. I thought we were friends, but Karina's like, oh no, that bitch hates you. I was like, okay. So now Karina's mad at me, and I'm mad at her because she put me in jail. I mean, she's part of the squad that applied pressure to my PO to lock me up. PO's going to listen when you're the future mother of your child, your best friend, and your parents are like, yeah, he needs jail time. Yeah, so he issued a warrant because I was a danger to the community. And what they violated me for? Smoking marijuana. Smoking. Remember when I told you that I made the call and I told Josh, I said, Josh, I'm smoking weed now. It's helping me with my PTSD and all my crazy anxiety. I need pot. I said, well, if you have a medical recommendation, you should be gravy, man. No, he didn't talk like that, but you know, he said that I could smoke weed if I had a medical rec. So I got it. And then remember, he called back and he's like, hey, I talked to Brandon and sorry, man, you can't smoke or we're going to violate you. So if you've already done it, you're going to be in trouble, bro. And I'd already smoked. I mean, I was beating my test anyway, but I was like, see, at that point, I was in the delusion thinking that I was like rallying against the system. That's what they ended up violating me for. And catching the pimping and pandering case. But why I was in jail right there and then was for the smoking weed that he told me that I can do. And I have the thing on, I recorded the fucking phone call where he said I could smoke weed. But you're not allowed to use that against someone. It's illegal in California. So I have it on tape saying that he told me I could do it and then he's violating me. I mean, I don't know. And I have the one with the therapist. People on Patreon have seen that. So I'm sitting in jail. She's mad at me. I'm mad at her. I need the drugs. I don't know what she needs out of me. But we're also having a child together. And deep down, I want to patch things up with her anyway. But my trust is permanently affected by the fact that she was part of the squad that put me in jail. So we start talking again, and she's basically, I assure her that I never fucked my ex-wife the whole time we dated, and I didn't. Honest to God, I didn't. And I wouldn't. You are such a drug. I just, I'm cool. I'm good on that. But of course, when something like this happens, there's always some uncertainty about it. She knows now, like we have a very strong relationship now, and she knows that that's all bullshit. In fact, she talked to her several times while I was in jail because we're trying to get the divorce done. So she already knows what time it is with that, but she didn't at that time. So we have it all set up where she's going to go meet Midget Man's brother and give him $600 cash that Jose had sent her. So I'm getting the dope. So he fronts me a little bit, and I'm snorting crystal meth, and I'm putting heroin down my nose. Now, I was still on that like hyper prison reform focus trip. None of the white guys, there were 12 white guys there, none of them had commissary. The three Pisces, nobody had commissary. Nobody was going to store. And you could get packages in county jail. So like these pre-made packages with these corny names, like one of them's called Rockin' Ramen. It's like 20 soups and like 20 bags of like, little chips, like Cheetos, Cooler Ranch Doritos. Fucking gross. But like in jail, that little package, the Rockin' Ramen, is like amazing because you're starving in there. Everybody starves in jail because you're depressed. So you're hungry all the time, in the food at Santa Barbara County Jail is awful. It's awful. So I tell all these guys, I'm like, I'm going to get every single one of you guys a Rockin' Ramen. And I go to the rep and I'm like, and I'm going to get you, it's called the Biggie, which is $100 package. Rockin' Ramen is like $40. The Biggie was like a big grocery bag full of shit. I was like, I'm going to get you the Biggie. And they're all just like in disbelief because they're the kind of guys that, break bikes off chains in front of stores, steal people's bicycles, live in bushes, and smoke crystal meth. Probably butt fuck. Like, dude, it's free. Let's just do it. I'm so spun out, dude. Yeah, me too. Fuck it. Just don't talk. Pretending like you're a chick right now. So, like, kind of guys these were. And then they come to jail and they can be whoever they want to be. But the people they choose to be is these people that just fucking sleep all day on the bunk. These guys were like, and at this point, I was used to going into federal custody. I wasn't used to county jail. This was like culture shock for me. Didn't matter though, because now I'm on heroin, I'm snorting meth, and it's fueling my psychosis even more. Next day, I have court. Karina and I patched it up to the point where she's going to go to court to see me. And I'm really excited about that because I want to see her, even though I'm mad at her because I feel responsible. I feel like she's somewhat responsible for me being in there prematurely. I mean, I'm the one that caught the pimping and pandering case, but probably could have stayed a little longer if they weren't telling my PO that I needed to be in jail. And, I'm sure people are like, how could you ever forgive that bitch? You don't know how I was. For those of you on Patreon that have seen videos of me, that's why. I was out of my mind, insane, mall massacre status. It's like trying on mall massacre beanies. I was like, does this one cover my eyes? I don't know. Probably get away with it if people can't see my eyes. I was on some psycho shit. So the next day, I'm going to court. They wake you up at 5 a.m. and they give you your lunch. Now it's Santa Barbara County Jail, or your breakfast. It's Santa Barbara County Jail. That is 2 bags of Cheerios, this much Cheerios that come in like, a little plastic bag. Give you a styrofoam cup. They give you coffee cake, which is about as hard as my laptop. Fucking, it tastes like a hockey puck or something. It's like, it's not soft. And then they give you 2 sweeteners, which people put, like, they crush up their hard coffee cake, put it in their Cheerios, and then they give you cold milk. The only good thing about it is cold milk. And you put your sweeteners in and you mix it up, and it's everything mixed together, and you eat it. It's horrible. I mean, the cold milk's cool, like 4 or 5 in the morning. You're always excited to have that. But besides that, it's bad. So I wake up to go to court, do a fat line of crystal meth, do a big old calito of heroin. I'm on a sick one, you know. I'd gone into the shower. You can go in the shower whenever you want. I shaved. I got all, suaved out. I was ready to go see Karina and blow her kisses. And I was like, I could go viral right there in the courtroom. Virality is unpredictable. People are like, okay, bro. Yeah. Bet when I left, they're like, dude, that guy's a fucking straight weirdo. All right. More bush butt fuck stories. Who wants to go first? Yeah, I did that in the riverbed too, man. So I end up going to court. It's a really long day, you know. Get up early, then they put you in like a drunk tank where you would go when you first get arrested. You sit in there all day for like 3 or 4 hours. Court starts at like 8 in the morning. You're in there for like 2 hours, let's say. Then you get on this bus, and if you're lucky, the cops will turn on the music just enough where like you can almost hear it, and you're just so desperate to hear music that you're just like everybody's just in silence trying to hear the music, unless there's like girls, on the bus. They always look like hockey players. You know how, county jail girls. They're intimidating. Every girl I ever see in county jail, I'm 5'6". Every time I see a girl in county, I'm like, damn, that bitch could knock me out with her left hand for sure. I wouldn't fight that girl. And it's a girl. Like I'm cool. They look intimidating. They're always like these girls that have these like hammer fucking size, these big old sledgehammer fists. They look like, Mario villains. They look like, Nintendo bosses. You're like, damn, dude. And like you only see them like that, like in jail, and they're always their conversations, like, and then the guys they'll all be getting at them, they'll be like, hey, what's up? What's up? Hey, I'm Papa Criminal. Damn, baby. Damn. I'm trying to get your lips tattooed on my neck, bitch. I think I'm in fucking love. Damn, your ass is fucking bad. Hey, do you play hockey, bitch? And then it'll be like, and the girls are always like, hey, what's up, Papa Criminal? Hey, yeah, no. Baby Scrappy said to tell you to like get at his baby mama because like, I don't know. I think that she doesn't know that you're here. Check it out. They say like weird shit like that. So you have to deal with that while you're on the bus, and you're always seeing like these weird like homeless guys that they arrest because Santa Barbara PD is always arresting homeless guys. They have like, their like fingernails are black, and like, their face is all like patchy because there's like all these sun damage, and their hair's like frizzy, and they look like they could die at any moment. It's like Weekend at Bernie's shit. They're like being propped up by the guards. You don't even know if they are alive the whole time because they're like on a chain with you. It's possible that it is Weekend at Bernie's kind of shit where they're just kind of like being puppeteered by the rest of the chain, everybody that's shackled and on this chain. So anyway, so you get to court, and then you have to go into another drunk tank. It's called the dungeon. Most jails I've been to throughout the country have this system. When you go to court, a lot of it is intended. Think about it. They want you to plead out. So they try to make court as uncomfortable of an experience as possible. Because because a lot of people do that. They'll be like, nope, I'm not signing the deal. All right, we'll put it on calendar for the 9th. Then the 9th comes. I'm not ready to sign. All right, we'll put it on calendar for the 31st. And then, and so on and so on. And it goes on for years and years and years. But every time you make a court appearance, you have to go through this torturous dungeon stuff. So I'm in the dungeon, and I'd asked Midget Man for a gram of black, because I was schooled in jail to always look out for your race, and I brought it in Santa Barbara County. You can like make a little slit in your boxers and you can stuff it in there. So as soon as I get in the drunk tank, I was talking to this dude named Pretty Boy that I'd known for years. We used to be homeless together with this dude, Damien. We all used to run around together. stealing bikes and doing bush stuff. Yeah, I did. You know, it's just like the young street junkie crowd that just turned into junkie jailbird crowd. That's what happens. And I'm there with them. I'm like, we're all back together. But I open that gram and like a good solid white dude, I give every white dude and they're an issue. I'm like, here you go. And people are like, what's that? I'm like, it's some black. And they're just like, because solid guys in like especially at this jail is so rare. I'm like, I'm fed raised, I've been in the feds. Like I'm trained just to be proper. Oh, I have 9 grams of heroin or access to it in my unit and I'm going to be buying it all. I'm going to take a gram. I'll pay for that. And I'm going to go break every white dude in the drunk tank off. That's just the right thing to do. And if everybody in jail or prison was like that, then everybody would have more heroin. Duh. So I'm sitting in there, and of course, when you're the guy that's giving drugs for free to people, everybody's like, people are like surrounding me like I'm like some apostle, and I'm just like talking, and they're like all sitting Indian style, and I'm like the only one standing, and I'm like, yeah, let's talk about prison reform and possibly going viral. And everyone's just like, all on the heroin that I gave them, so they're just, oh yeah, we'll agree with anything you say, man. Hey, you think you can give me more heroin? So they'll call your name one by one. Now, at this point, I had fired Adam Perlman, or we had that mutual falling out thing that had happened. So I didn't even know who was going to represent me, and I was all twacked out on meth, and I was like, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to represent myself. I had stuck like a big ass chunk of heroin. I'd boofed it. I was like, I'm going to boof this shit. And like all the white guys that I'd given heroin to were like, dude, you're so hardcore. I'm like, I already know. Just like boof this little smudge of black tar. And they're like, do you feel it? I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally high from boofing that. They're like, yeah, bro. A lot of fake stuff going on in jail. So one by one, they're calling everyone. They never call me. And the thing is it was still possible for me to get bail. If the state would give me bail, if the state would bail me out, if I could get bail, because at this point, I was just on pretrial for the pimping and pandering. I hadn't changed my plea. I was only in jail because of the federal warrant. So if the state gave me bail, I could post bond, and the feds have 3 days to pick me up to put me in federal custody. People do this all the time when they're they're bouncing around from fed and state system. If they don't get you in 3 days, they have 72 hours to come get you. The fed to local county jail like that. It's different if you're being extradited state to state or whatever. But if it's local, fed, and state, they have 72 hours. So what you're banking on is that you can bail out in the state system, and then the feds don't come get you because logistically they can't get it done in time. And I'm not like the shoe bomber or anything. They're not really tripping on me. I'm been there for smoking weed, U.S. probation violation. It's not like I'm like some priority mugshot guy that's like, all right, boys, this is Ryan Leone. Plaster me onto the wall. This guy's name is Ryan Leone. He's a very dangerous guy. What's he do, Bob? Well, he's been smoking pot again. Scumbag. We got to get that guy. Let's go extradite him. They're like, yeah. And they all like put their AR-15s up in the air. Like, let's go kick some pothead ass. So that was the plan, because like I said, I'm still pretrial. The state has not given me a reason not to have bail. They revoked my bail only because I got arrested by the Fed thing. But I was planning on going to court, and even if I didn't have a public defender, I was going to high on meth, defend myself, and ask for bail. But they never called me. All day. It's called a dry run when that happens. You go through that long, torturous process, and they never call you. And I never got to see Karina because I just stayed in this dungeon all day. I was like, dry run. It happens. Sometimes they put you on the docket by accident. Then by the time you get to court, they're like, oh, shit. Leone, that was a mistake. Just cross him off the list. Give him an extra apple. He'll be fine. But you have to sit there for like 10 hours. When it's a dry run, you have to sit there all day long because if you finish early, you get to go in this little van. That's like the early bus, in this little van. If you have to wait there all day, you go on this long, you're there from 8 until 5 in the afternoon. It's torture. So I'm like, all right, they must have just forgotten me. So I get back on the bus. I'm all high. All the white guys are like, later, brother. We have like a secret handshake by this point. Like I'm like the most popular guy ever because I gave everyone heroin. And we end up going back to the jail. And I call Karina. I was like, hey, how you doing? And she's like, why weren't you there? She's like, Adam was there. I was like, what do you mean Adam was there? She's like, yeah. And he said that that you couldn't be there, so that he was appearing for you. And the judge got mad, and you got a failure to appear in a felony warrant. I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? She's like, yeah, why is that? I'm like, dude, that can't be legal. I'm like, that's a good thing. I'm going to take this shit to trial. I'm going to win on a technicality. They can't do that. I was in the same building and they just gave me a warrant for felony failure to appear because some attorney that I fucking fired is like, yeah, I'm here for Mr. Leone. Oh, no. We don't know where he is. Oh, if you want to issue a warrant, yeah, go ahead. We'll deal with it later. Thanks, Your Honor. So basically, they gave me the failure to appear. I didn't know why, and my psychosis house. I'm like, and I'm on meth now. I wasn't on drugs this whole time. Everyone is accusing me of being on drugs. Now I'm on meth and heroin, and I'm just like, what does it mean? And we will get into what happens in the next Prison 3 series episode on the next episode. Did that sound right? That didn't sound right. Everyone's like, why aren't you doing introductions anymore? Because they're on bitches. And also, I'm going to start doing rerun episodes where I cut the introduction, where I'm begging for money, and there's no advertisements. It's all going to be on a private Vimeo. So if you're on Patreon, on any tier, the $3 tier, any tier, you get all of my old catalog commercial free and without introduction. So it's just straight to the story. So I want you to see what that's like with this series. This is going to be a long series. It's going to get very interesting. A lot of really weird, crazy shit happened. And that's why I went through the whole breakdown thing, because you guys there were certain things that I had to say so that this story is going to start making sense. It just gets wild. Please like, comment, subscribe. Check out patreon.com/Ryan Leone. We're doing the raffle for the Paul Project. That will be there will be a link in the pinned comment. Also, my second YouTube channel. If you have 12 chances to win in the raffle, we're doing 3 original Sinister Monopoly paintings, 3 Sinister Monopoly cans that he's usually selling for $500. Then you get a snake ordinance blotter, signed book. So there's 12 chances to win. $30. You get 3 tickets, 3 raffles in a row, July 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And it all goes towards the very complex and ambitious goal of trying to get Narcan to people for free nationally in honor of my late friend, Paul Harper. Thank you, guys. I will see you next time. Stay safe. Palabra.